people, welcome. My name is V, and today we are going to take a look at version 3.0 of my Shulker storage system. As you may notice, it looks very similar on the inside, but the outside has gotten a major overhaul. I've patched out a few major bugs, and I've added a couple new features. So yeah, let's get started. Let's first take a look at how the machine works exactly for anyone that's new. So basically, these are your storage chests. You're going to put some shulker boxes in here that contains any item that you want. So for instance, I could have a shulker box with just some stone and some random wood. It wouldn't matter, basically. You can just throw it in any order. Don't even think about it. But make sure that when you add a new item that isn't in the system yet, to take one of those items and stick it in the menu chest here. Make sure it's stackable to 64. Anything that doesn't stack to 64 won't work in the system, so just don't put any of those items in the shulker boxes. So once you add one of those items and you want to look for that item in the system, you basically just hover your mouse over the sunflower and press Q, and it will drop it, and the system will pick it up and start searching for it. You may hear a little jingle, that means it found something. And once it's done, you can find your chest right here and just take out any of the items, or you can take the shulker box with you if you want. And with this button you will send it back into the system. You may notice that one of these boxes is missing. That's no concern. It's actually right here in this hopper below. That hopper gets locked and one of them will get stuck in there, so don't worry about that. Alright, so let's talk about the new features. You may have noticed that this looks a little different from the previous version. This used to be the reset button, but I've actually added a reset system right here. This will check if this chest is empty, and if it is, it will actually just shut down the system. Instead, this button will switch the mode that the machine is in. So right now it's in standard mode, and it will just shut off the first time the machine finds a box that contains your item. So as you could see before, it found a yellow shulker box with our item in it, and it shut down the machine, and it just reset by itself. When you switch the mode, the light will turn off, and instead of stopping right away, it will actually search through every single one of these boxes and pick out every single one of the shulker boxes that contains your item. So yeah, let's just show you. Let's see, what do we want to search for? Let's say we want some redstone. Now it will search for all the boxes that contain redstone, so all of these will end up in our pickup station. So normally it would have shut down right now, but it doesn't, and every time it finds one, it will make a little jingle. And you may have heard a different sound. That was the reset system. Because this chest is empty, it reset the machine by itself. And here we have all our redstone chests. Send them all back. So there's one more thing I'd like to show you. If you ever search for an item that isn't in your system anymore, so because you took out all the stone for instance, and you don't have it anymore. Previously the machine would just stop working, and you'd have to hit the reset button twice to reset the system, but now it will actually reset by itself, so there aren't any redstone torches in here. So just let it run through everything. You should hear the error sound once it's done. That way you know that there aren't any chests, there you go, that contain your item. And it will just reset by itself, as you can see. The final thing I'd like to talk about is the search items. So as you can see, every time I search for something, after the machine resets, the item comes back into this chest. That used to be different. Previously there would be an item in the filter at all times, and if you wanted to look for that item again, you'd have to hit the reset button. But now it will actually send back the item after it's done searching, instead of sending back the item when you search for a new item. And that way you always have access to every single one of the items that you might want to look for. And that's pretty convenient, I'd say. So yeah, that's about it for this new version. I think we're ready to build it, so let's go. Alright, let's first take a look at what you'll actually be needing. These are all the items. These are dispensers, droppers, and some normal chests. Just any block that's stacks to 64, or item that stacks to 64. Filler items, these are just anything that stacks to 64 and are renamed. Just some non-solid blocks, so slabs for instance, doesn't matter what kind of slabs, you could use glass as well. And some banners. These are just an item that you definitely won't be searching for. I use these banners because they stand out pretty well. I recommend you use them as well, but you could also use signs or whatever you'd like that stacks to 16, as long as you will know that you shouldn't look for that item. And the rest should be pretty self-explanatory. So let's take a look at the dimensions. It's 11 wide, it's 10 deep, so in this direction, and it's 10 high, not counting the blocks that the redstone are actually sitting on, because that's basically just the floor. Yep, the floor of the actual control area is 5 blocks from the ground. So if you count from here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th block. And yeah, that should give you enough information about the dimensions. So let's move on to actually building the facade. I'm just gonna take a quick look around here. Just pause the video if you have to. You can use any kind of blocks here. If you want a medieval village that has this machine in it, you might want to exchange these pillars for wood, for instance, or use some stone in here. Just as long as these blocks are non-solid, so you can actually open these chests. Let's take a look at the chests actually. So this is how the hoppers are going. This is facing in that direction. These chests are just sticking out like that. And down here we also have some chests in place already. Take a good look at how these hoppers are facing. Alright, that should be enough. So let's move on to actually the first mechanical part. Alright, so as always we'll start off with the anti-backup system. These are the items that you'll need. These are some filler items and these are the banners. So let's come on over here. We will start off with some droppers facing upwards like this. We won't have one over there. And then have them go like that, so you get like a little circle. Up and up over there. Next up we will have a comparator facing that way, an observer, a block, a sticky piston, and a redstone block. Then we'll have some hoppers facing into each other, 3 of our random items, then an observer facing downwards with a comparator on top, another observer and another observer, sticky piston, one more observer, and then go down like that diagonally with a block, then a repeater on 2 ticks, another block, redstone, another block, and a redstone torch like that. And that should be the first one done. So let's move on to the next. Another comparator, then go up with the observer into a block, another block, some redstone, a sticky piston, a redstone block, then come down here to another 2 hoppers facing into each other with 3 random items, then an observer facing downwards like that, comparator, sticky piston, then another observer like that, into a block, a repeater on 2 ticks, go up, redstone, block, and another redstone torch, and then just mirror that side over here. So a comparator, up, block, and we will actually use a slab right there, redstone dust, sticky piston, redstone block, go down, 2 hoppers facing each other, the last 3 random items, then go down, comparator, sticky piston, another observer, into a block, repeater on 2 ticks, redstone, and the last 2 pieces right there. And then we'll come over here, we'll have 4 of our filler items, 2 of our banners, and 1 more in there. Same goes over here, 2 and 1 more, and the last one is down here, 2, 4, and we'll put the last one in from this side. There we go. And to test it, we can actually fill in every single one of these slots and then try and reach the hopper back there. It should replace the banner just like that, and when you take it out, the banner should come back. And we can test that for every single one of these, just to be sure. There we go. And the last one should also work. There we go. Perfect. Alright, so let's move on to the next part. Alright, next up is the engine. These are the parts that you'll need. I'm going to start off with a block that you might be able to see from inside, so make sure that it fits the decor. Then have a dispenser like that and a piston like this, an observer facing upwards and 1 facing downwards, a comparator in between on subtract, and a block, a repeater on 2 ticks, then go up like that, some redstone, then come down here, another observer into a full block, then have a full block over here, then an observer facing downwards like that, some redstone, and encase it all, something like this, and you might want to use some of those blocks over there as well, so you won't be able to see anything weird from inside. And that should be it, so let's give it a test run. Throw it in here, and it should end up in there just like that. Perfect. Alright, let's move on. Next up we have the filter. These are the items that you'll need. We're gonna come down to this chest over here. We have 3 hoppers and another hopper facing in that direction. Go down like that. Then have 2 hoppers facing in that direction. And a comparator coming out of this one into a block. 2 redstone torch, 2 blocks like that, 2 repeaters both on 2 ticks, and 2 redstone to top it all off. And we'll add some filler items just like that, and that should be it. So let's move on. Alright, next up we have the re-entry system. This is what you'll need. We're gonna come down to the filter over here, a dispenser, 2 hoppers, a piston, then an observer facing down like that. Then we'll have a dropper facing this way, some hoppers going around just like that. Then we'll have some more hoppers right here facing that way, and 2 facing into there, then a block over there, a comparator into a block, another block there, then a repeater and a piece of redstone dust, 2 blocks here and a block in the middle, repeater on 2 ticks, 2 redstone, another block, a sticky piston facing in this direction, then add some glass over top. Make sure you leave a gap over here so the piston can move forward, and we'll add our little jingle thingies. These are optional. If you don't want them, you can just leave them out. This one will be on 6, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this one 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. test it out, we can get a shulker box, throw it on in this left hopper, and an item in the right one. And there we go. We have a shulker box with our item. So yeah, let's move on to the next part. Alright, next up we have the pickup station. This is what you'll need. Come down to the back side of the machine. Right here, have a piston and a dispenser like that. A sticky piston right there. An observer facing upwards. And a block right there. A repeater on 3 ticks, just like that, into a block and a redstone torch. Then we'll add our hoppers. 1, 2, 3. Then we'll have a sticky piston like that, facing in this direction. A node block, just like that. And then observers facing this way, and then up, piece of redstone dust, another observer, a full block, and that should be it for that. You can also add some blocks right here if you want. Put a hopper there and a stair there so the chest can open, and a slab just like that so your boxes can also open. Come around, also add a button. That's about what it should do. Throw in a test shulker box. No item should be going out of here. Press it again and it should end up in the bottom hopper. There we go. Alright, so let's move on to the next part. Okay, next up is the filter switcher. This is what you'll need. I'm gonna come to the back of the filter here. I have some droppers facing upwards, then one facing into that hopper right there, then 2 blocks like that, comparator, sticky piston, and an observer facing in that direction. Then we'll come down here. We'll have a hopper like that, 6 of them, and 2 in that direction. Then we'll have an observer facing upwards like that, sticky piston, another observer like that, a repeater on 2 ticks, piece of redstone dust, a block there and a block there, repeater on 4 ticks, another block, a piece of redstone dust, a sticky piston, a redstone block, and 1 block with a piece of redstone dust. And that should be it. So let's move on. Alrighty, next up is the on-off system. This is what you'll need. We're gonna come on over to the filter. There should be a torch right here. I have an observer, then a block. I'm gonna make that a different color because it's part of the mode switcher. We'll get into that in a second. I have some redstone right there, a piston just like that, and next we will be looking for this dropper right here. I have some hoppers coming out of that until you get to this corner. Then go around just like this and go to this corner right here. Then we will have a piece of rail there and there, and a minecart on both of them. And you can encapsulate them in some glass if you want. You don't have to do this, but it's a bit safer, I suppose. It's always better. Alright, let's go down here. We'll have an observer looking at this hopper, and then another observer facing that way into a block. Then we'll look at this hopper right here, and a sticky piston right there. And then another observer, a block right there, and some redstone running over there. A sticky piston, redstone block with a block in between there, then a block up there, go up just like that, redstone torch, run some redstone, and you might want to check what kind of color the inside of your control station is. You want to coordinate that with this block because you will be able to see that block from inside. Okay, so let's go over here, run some redstone right there, go up like that. We're gonna come down here, we will delete the observer that's normally up there. I already did that. I have 2 repeaters on 2 ticks, then a block right there. Go like this, and this should be a block, and then a repeater on 4 ticks, and fill this in with some redstone. And we'll come back around here and we just add this observer back, and that should be the on-off system. So let's move on to the next part. Next up is a fairly quick one. This is the reset system. This is what you'll need. And we're gonna come to the back of the storage chests right here. Have a comparator into a block with a redstone torch, then come on down, redstone dust, sticky piston, and an observer facing this way. And if you want, you can add some note blocks, which will make a little jingle when the system resets. So this one will be on 13. 13. And the next one will be on 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And once this updates, makes a little error sound. So yeah, let's move on to the next part. Next is another fairly quick one. This is the mode switcher. This is what you'll need. So first we're gonna place the button. It's gonna come right here. Then have a repeater coming out of that block. Then a sticky piston up and down. A observer right there. A repeater on 1 tick. A full block, sticky piston, and a redstone block right there. Then an observer facing downwards, a block with 1 block in between, another block in between with some redstone right there, a repeater into a block, and then a sticky piston. So once you press this, it will take this block that we placed before and move it that way, and this will also be moved, and that should reset it. So yeah, let's move on to the next part. Next we'll be building the item elevators. This is what you'll need. First off, we're gonna come over here. I'm gonna build up 9 droppers like that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1 more. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we'll come over here. We'll have a comparator like that, piece of redstone dust, and we're gonna build up some observers just like that, all the way to the top. Oh, didn't mean to do that. That should be it. Alright, moving on to the next one. This one will be on subtract into a block and make a little clock like that. Block it off with a block right there. Then we'll go up 2, and right here we'll have 1, 2, then some redstone again. Just do the same thing as before. We can fit underneath this. Yep. And 1 more should do the trick. Now the last one goes in this direction, also on subtract. Then make a little clock, go up 1 block, have an observer facing that way, into a piece of redstone dust, just like that. And we're gonna do the same as over there, so 1, didn't mean to do that, there we go, and 2. And just repeat what we did over there. Up, up, and actually we need to change these for hoppers. And finally we'll have some hoppers facing in that direction, and this one will be facing in that direction. So yeah, that's the item elevators. Let's finish up the last couple pieces. Alright, next is the pickup station activator. This is what you'll need. I'm gonna come on down to the final item elevator. Have an observer right there. Repeater on 4 ticks into a block. Then have some redstone like that. Then an comparator, another comparator. Then a block like that. Some redstone, a redstone torch, block, redstone into a, actually this has to be a sticky piston, block, an observer, another sticky piston, and another observer. And that's it. Alright, we're almost done. Next up is the pickup station opener. This is what you'll need. And we're gonna come up to the top of the machine right here. Let's try and place it so that it's facing downwards. And another sticky piston like that. An observer. And then you'll want to extend these blocks up one, because you will be able to see the corner of this, because this is a stair. Then put a piece of redstone dust there, and a full block right there. And finally put a button right there, and that should open just like that. Alright, so let's do the final couple things, just like connecting the hopper chains and just a few cosmetics, and then we're done. Alright, so the last thing we need to do is connect the leftover hopper chains. So we're gonna come on over here, go up like that, just run this over here. It's actually in the wrong direction, so it goes like that. Then we'll come over here, go up, go like this, and we go like that. Make sure that you avoid this redstone block. Go like that, right here, around the corner, just like that. Also avoid this redstone block. I forgot that at the last machine. So, just like that, and that's connected. Now we need to connect this one to over here. So, just go like that, and make the corner just like that. And that's the top part done. Now we're gonna come down here, and we actually, this is probably the hardest run you'll have to do. I'm gonna go to this hopper, connect that like that, and come around here, go around, and then connect this to this hopper over here. And I think that's it for all the hoppers. Let's take a good look around. Yeah, that sounds about right. So let's do some last cosmetic things. So you want to enclose this chest so you don't see any of the redstone from inside. So just put something there, some quartz around here, just like that. And you shouldn't be able to see anything that way. Now close this off, and this, and make sure this is all closed off. And if you want, you can also close this off. It's kind of outside of our boundaries, but it's just cosmetic, so it doesn't really count, I don't think. And add some blocks up there, some right there, and we'll want to enclose these ones. I think this is fine. This one we want to make sure is all good, and this one we can't really do anything about. So yeah, that's about it, I think. Alright, before we go, I'd like to take it for a little test run, just to make sure everything is okay. Let's see. Let's look for some redstone. These are some test boxes right here. It's in stop mode right now. Yep, it stopped. And there we have our box. Very good. Now let's switch the mode. Let's look for sunflowers. sounded good. It's all resetting properly. And that should be all our sunflower chests. Alright, so I think it's all fine. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. And I apologize, it's been quite a while. As you can see over here, I've been pretty hard at work finishing up all the previous versions. This is version 2.4. I thought it was ready for a video, but turned out it wasn't quite ready yet. There was still a few bugs that needed to be worked out. I've also been working on trying to incorporate a shulker box filler, so that you can throw some items in a chest and it will just fill the items into that chest. It should be able to fit right here, but I haven't been able to figure out all the little details yet. There's still 2 or 3 things that need to be worked out before that's actually gonna work in this machine, and I couldn't quite finish it in the time that I had before I wanted to get this video out. So maybe that's something I'll show you guys in the future if I actually manage to figure it out and it fits within this 3x4 area, which is quite a challenge, but I'm up for it. I'm gonna try. So yeah, that's about it for this video. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.